Good coffee this morning. Good morning, hi. I'm Paul Begley. Let's get these 33 miners out of that hole. I mean, my God. Would it be great? I mean, they've got the borehole, the 21-inch hole they've been working on since they found these miners. This is day 65, and they broke through. They broke through. The hole is there. Can you imagine? You're almost a mile underground. I mean, it's incredible. I think they're 20 to almost 2,300 feet straight down. But if the hole itself is quite lengthy as it runs. These guys, 33 miners in Chile, have been underground, trapped in a mine for 65 days. The real scary part was the first 17 days after the mine accident. And these 33 men got into the small sheltered area where there was only 2 days worth of food and water. They didn't know if anyone was ever going to find them. They didn't know if the world had given up on them. So for 17 days and nights they sat in darkness, wondering if the world was going to find them. Can you imagine the prayers? Can you imagine the anguish? Can you imagine the despair? And clinging to hope and listening for one sound. Just one sound. You know, if you was to die, this just hit me just now, but if we were to die and we were wound up in eternal hell, eternal damnation, and if we've been there 10,000 years, among the screaming and the moaning and the anguish and the pain, the despair, the hopelessness. Have you ever listened to Russia's hell sounds? You can go on Google it. Go ahead and Google it. Or maybe it's even on YouTube. I know for sure if you Google it, you'll find the websites where back in the 50s, Russian scientists actually lowered microphones deep into the heart of the earth. And they then recorded what they heard, and what they heard was sounds. It sounds so demonic and so awful. It sounded like a multitude of people in a huge cavern with sounds of screaming and torment and moaning and crying and anguish. It will literally raise the hair on the back of your head. And the scientists that recorded this were so afraid, and it brought such fear that they pulled those microphones out of the ground. They refused to do it anymore. And for about 50 years, those recordings were sealed in communist Russia. They've just recently, in the last 10 years, maybe less, have been released for the public. I've heard them, listened to them several times, and just it's insanity to think of what that might be. And it's so real. It sounds like the sounds from hell. Well, I thought about these. If we were in hell and all the pain, if the whole time you're there, you're thinking, could I get out? Is there any possible way that I can get out? You would be straining your ears and your mind for one glimmer of hope. Well, think how these 33 miners from Chile felt. For 17 days they were in the heart of the earth waiting whether there was hope or not. You know, Jonah was only in the belly of the whale 3 days before he was coughed up on dry land and given a second chance. 33 miners, 17 days in the heart of the earth, and then they heard the sound. They heard a sound. And then they listened and they listened, and it broke through their ceiling, and they realized they were corresponding with, and they realized that they had been located, and they were able to scribble back and write back and send it up, and the world knew they were there. And then they heard the word, we're going to try to get you out. And now it's day 65, and the big 21-inch hole has broke through. Now they could start pulling them up. They have this tube that's been specially made. It's called the Phoenix. And they could lower it in. It could go all the way down to the cave. They could actually put a man inside that Phoenix, close it, and pull him back up. The Phoenix will travel at 6 inches per second. 6 inches per second. So it'd be kind of going out like this, about this speed. Okay? They say it would take 1 hour to pull the Phoenix, the capsule, from the prison, the cavern, the death trap deep in the mine, all the way to the top. If they were to start right now, they could pull one man out an hour. The problem is the hole that they just bore could collapse. Debris could fall. The thing could get stuck, and if it got stuck, they have no way to pull it up or push it down. There'd be no way to do it. With what? What force would you use? If you couldn't pull it up, you can't push it down. So it's risky. So I think the decision is now, do we go ahead and go for it, let's get these guys out of here, or do they go ahead and line the entire hole with a steel casing so that they can pull the thing in and out safely? Even if the hole tries to collapse, it can't. Obviously, that's the right decision. I mean, look, they've been down there 65 days. We've been giving them food and water and keeping them going. We can do it for another 6 or 7 days that it takes to put the steel casing through the hole. I think it's the right thing to do. Let's just pray. The engineers there have done a phenomenal job. The mining company has stuck with the families and these men. God has been there. The prayers of the people of the Lord. And I tell you what, national pride in Chile is at an all-time high. And I think the world is watching. We need some good news in this world. There's been so many terrible things this year. And it's ironic that the one great piece of news that the world can embrace will be the rescuing of 33 men from the heart of the earth. It's almost like pulling people from the clutches of death. It's cheating death to the 1000th degree. It's the remarkable and the impossible. And man could have never come up with this without God's help. And these men couldn't have been alive. They lasted 17 days and nights on 2 days' ration. That's insane. But it's a tribute to the spirit of man's will to live and to the grace of God to find them. I'm Paul Begley. Let's get these guys out of that well. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. In Jesus' name.